Hey guys, I'm Hellhound, and welcome back to my little midnight spook show thing. And since I know that there are a lot of viewers who actively seek out horror movies when after I recommend them, and they seem to trust my opinion of horror films that I reviewed and suggest for watching, I feel like it's my duty to recommend as many of my favorite horror films as possible. So I'm going to continue that. Last time I reviewed April Fool's Day, which is a great movie. But I figured I'd review another 80s slasher film that actually feels more like a horror movie. So let's go ahead and look at The Initiation from 1984. Very good slasher movie. I feel like it's very similar to Happy Birthday to Me. So if you've seen that one already, and that came out first, I believe. So you've seen Happy Birthday to Me. I think it came out like a year or two before this one. You might notice some similarities. I sure did when I first saw this. But yeah, The Initiation. They pledge themselves to be young, stay young, and die young. Yeah, pretty cool. Pretty cool tagline. So anyway, it stars Daphne Zuniga, who you might know from The Dorm That Dripped Blood, an earlier horror movie. I think it was her film debut as well, and she was also Princess Vespa in Spaceballs, and I think she played the main girl in The Fly too. But anyway, she plays a girl named Kelly Fairchild who is haunted by strange nightmares, which she thinks are actually memories of her discovering her mother sleeping with another man when her father's there too, a strange man, and the strange man ends up being engulfed in flames. And the last thing she remembers is him just burning alive, before she like comes to, and she suffers amnesia as well. So yeah, this is a slasher film. So addition to being a whodunit, you don't know who the killer is. It's a mystery. There's also a really interesting backstory, like a whole mystery, like all kinds of really cool, like behind the scenes, stuff going on. Like there's a pretty dark origin story for the main character, and it's all ties into who the killer is and the motivations and all. I think it was really well done, pretty brilliant, and again very similar to Happy Birthday to Me, which I think had kind of a similar twist and kind of a similar storyline. But anyway, yeah, Kelly, played by Daphne Zuniga, is she's just joined us. She's in college. She's just joined a sorority, and they have the little initiation ritual, the hazing, if you will, and it's actually to break into her father's department store at nighttime. And so she and a few other pledges have to do this. Once ordered by their sorority sisters, if they want to join the sorority and be part of the dorm and all that. So, but a killer has been stalking these college students and offing them one by one. Meanwhile, Kelly Fairchild seeking answers from not only her mother, Frances, played by Vera Miles, who you might recognize as Lila Crane from the original Psycho, and Clu Gulager, who's best known for my favorite movie, Return of the Living Dead, and he was also in Nightmare on Elm Street 2 and a few others. She seeks answers from her parents, again played by Vera Miles and Clu Gulager, Frances and Dwight Fairchild, respectively, and as well as Peter, played by James Reed, who is a psychology major and a graduate assistant who works at the college. Like he's like studying, and like he helps her try to figure out what her strange dreams mean, despite the protests of her mother. And what it all means and how she's connected to all these strange happenings going on. So yeah, very interesting story. Kelly is a great main character. Peter's really cool too, and then the parents, played again by Clu Gulager and Vera, Frances and Dwight, Kelly's parents. They have like a dark history. There's something they're hiding. It's very obvious that they're trying to suppress something that happened, something awful that happened, and so it's a huge mystery. And it's very interesting that a bunch of inmates from the asylum have escaped and murder a nurse. So it's pretty obvious it's one of the inmates doing the killing, but who and why? And there's actually a really obvious red herring in the movie. You think that he's the one doing the killing. I knew better because I knew that'd be too obvious. I was like, they just threw him in there so we'd think that it was him as the murderer. But then again, what if that's what they wanted you to think? What if it does turn out he's the murderer because he was too obvious? I don't dare give it away. I'm not giving away the twist. I gave away the twist in April Fool's Day in my last review. I warned with a spoiler, but I'm not going to give away this twist. It's way too brilliant. And I'm afraid you guys will continue watching my video even if you haven't seen the initiation. So I'm not going to give away the twist this time because I think it's pretty well done. But I will say that it's similar to Happy Birthday to Me. So you might see it coming, but you might not. They don't really play fair with the audience. It's it's like the original Friday the 13th type of situation. They don't really play fair as to who the killer is. I will say that. But again, maybe I'm just telling you that. Maybe I'm trying to mislead you. But anyway, yeah. There's some great humor in this film. The characters are all likable enough. There's not not really a lot of bad acting or atrocious dialogue that's usually associated with movies like this. It is an 80s slasher after all, though. There's some cheesy moments, some characters making stupid decisions and stuff. But I think it all ties together pretty nicely. And the character Peter, I think, was really likable. I loved his determination to try to figure out, what's happening with Kelly. And, and her determination, for that matter, to figure out what her strange nightmares mean and why they've been haunting her and they're recurring nightmares have been plaguing her whole life. What do they all mean? I kind of thought it was kind of obvious what the twist was with that, but there's actually quite a few twists and turns in this movie. Even if you figure out what the nightmare means and who the strange man was, you still might not figure out who the killer is, but I'll never tell. But anyway, I think you guys will like this movie. It's definitely one of the better 80s slashers for sure. I think it's very underrated, very overlooked, kind of neglected, not very well known. Definitely see it if you want to see Vera Miles, again, Lila Crane from Psycho, or Clu Gulager, who, was awesome in Return of the Living Dead, is one of my favorite characters ever in one of my favorite movies. Bert, Anyway, he doesn't last long, though, unfortunately. Clu Gulager's character doesn't last very long, but, what can you do? But yeah, the best performance, of course, is Daphne Zuniga as the main girl, as Kelly. I really felt for her. I really felt sympathy for her character. And there was sometimes I thought that maybe she had kind of something of a dark side too, a split personality. There's all kinds of red herrings. There's all kinds of twists and turns. There's all kinds of parts where you think that you've figured it all out and you know what's going on, but then the movie keeps you on your toes and says, nope, that's not it at all. And it's like. It turns out it was something else completely different. So they lead you on, but then they leave you in the dark right after. So, lots of subsequent plot turns and, strange plot devices. And some great gore, too. There's like an axe in the head, an axe in the middle of the forehead, an arrow in the stomach. A lot of the kills are done with a small pitchfork-looking tool. I'm not sure what it was supposed to be. It looks like a huge fork or something. But, some creative death scenes, some pretty good gore, and lots of gratuitous nudity. So, it feels right at home in a movie like this. It has all the same tropes and cliches, but I think they put a pretty clever twist on it. It's not just another mindless 80s slasher. And some of it I found was a little similar to House on Sorority Row, which is another film I need to review, for sure. In that, it keeps you on your toes and keeps you second-guessing yourself all the time while watching it. So I was very invested in the story. I love whodunits, and I love how so many 80s slashers, have enough mystery for like 5 Scooby-Doo episodes. I think that was just brilliant. And this one's definitely does it very well. So I think you guys will be pleased if you watch this movie. I highly recommend it. I hope you continue to trust my opinion and come to me for advice on which horror movies to watch and which ones not to watch, because if I may say so myself, I think I have a pretty good outlook on these type of things. I wouldn't lie to you guys, unless I start saying that Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation is the best movie ever or something, in which case, call them in the white coats, because it's time for me to be put away if I start worshiping that piece of shit. Sorry, I'm going off on a tangent for some reason. Talking about, what the hell am I even talking about? The Initiation. Let's get back on topic. Great movie, great storyline, great acting, great characters, all very interesting, very intricate and compelling backstory, and, kind of an emotional roller coaster ride, too, because you never really know what's going to happen. You never know who to trust, So, pretty cool. Pretty well done. It was directed by Larry Stewart, and I think did a great job. It also stars Hunter Tylo, who's like, she's the chick that gets naked, and she's kind of like the bitch character. And just like the lead sister and all them, the head sorority sister. So yeah, we have the cruel sorority sisters, with their pranks and their pledging and their hazing and stuff. But this is definitely one of the better college dormitory slasher films. Along with, as I said, House on Sorority Row. This is definitely one of the better ones. With a killer stalking the students on campus, but a lot of it doesn't take place on campus. A lot of it takes place in the department store, in which the hazing ritual, the initiation, from the title, takes place. I kind of wish Chloe Gallagher had a bigger role. He plays her father, but he's not really in it very much. But overall, I'd give this movie about an 8 out of 10. It might not deserve quite that much, but I think screw it. I think it does. I think it's a solid 8. And again, I reviewed April Fool's Day earlier, but as I said, I won't spoil the twist in this video. But if you want to see what happens, check out my last review for April Fool's Day. I revealed that there was a certain reason why it doesn't really feel like a horror film. You have to watch the movie or watch my review and have me spoil it for you to find out. But this one definitely has balls. This one definitely feels like a horror film. Very well done. Yeah, be young, stay young, and die young. The Initiation. I love 80s slasher movies. Oh, there's so many of them. And alright, the review's over, so you can go ahead and stop the video now. But I feel like I had to address this. I feel like slasher films, two of my favorite things in the world, slasher films and thrash metal, were both so prominent in the 80s. They were both such a product of their times. And I feel like there's like a parallel there. There's like a similarity in that there were so many 80s slasher movies, so many. You could spend your entire life trying to track down all of them and watch all of them. Finding all of them would be, a huge task. It would be like, oh man, that would take a lot of, self-discipline and a lot of patience to seek out every horror, every 80s slasher film, just like it would to discover every single 80s thrash metal band. And the two are also similar in that, I feel like I have to make this comparison somewhere, and I'm going to stick it on the end of this video, tack it on the end of my Initiation review. There's so many 80s thrash metal bands. There's so many thrash metal bands back then, so many thrash metal acts that there's no way you'll ever be able to listen to every single group, and it'll take years, to discover all those groups. And I feel like both of them tried to make a comeback. Both genres, slasher films and thrash metal, both tried to make a comeback, like in the 2000s and the teens, but they never really captured. Some came very close, like the Hatchet series. And then like Toxic Holocaust and Havoc and bands like that, Skeleton Witch. Some came very close, but but didn't quite feel didn't quite match what was so great about it in the first place. Slasher films and thrash metal are both such a product of their time, which was the magnificent, wonderful, glorious 80s, the best decade ever, at least in my opinion. But yeah, thrash metal and slasher films, something that can't seem to make a complete revival, although there's been several attempts. But anyway, I don't know why. I just had to make that a comparison for some reason. I've been thinking about it for a while. I've been wanting to say it in a video, and maybe I'll make a whole video. Slasher films and thrash metal. What is the connection, Two of my favorite things that, don't seem to really exist all the way completely anymore. But anyway, I'm rambling again. The review's, been over, and now I'm just kind of running my mouth mindlessly. Alright guys, definitely check out The Initiation. I think you'll be pleased. I think that did it justice. I think I covered everything. I think I reviewed it adequately. So, I'm Hellhound, and until next time. I'm not sure what I'm going to review next, but you guys will be the first to know. So, later.